What's up, everyone, and welcome to another issue of Panel to Panel, brought to you by our YouTube channel, Thought Balloon. This is a podcast where we talk about last week's comic book releases, spoilers included, comic book news, and what's happening in comic book related pop culture. I am Esoteric Creator, and joining me today is my other half of this dynamic duo,
Jean Grey.
And let's get started on comics. Alright, so as always, we'll start off with Marvel. There was quite a few books that came out that I and Jean Grey here went through. The first one being Age of Apocalypse. So, Jean Grey, you want to read the synopsis?
The hunt for Cypher brings Magneto's X-Men into confrontation with Cyclops and Havoc's elite mutant force. Meanwhile, Angel has to protect a flat scan named Jean Grey, and Dr. Nemesis plans to sabotage Dark Beast's quest to become Apocalypse's newest horseman. What is the book? So what is the book about?
So this one covers the timeline after Age of Apocalypse, and in this world, Apocalypse pretty much rules it, the way he kind of always deemed fit. And then you have, of course, his four horsemen, which in this universe is Sinister. Beast is trying to become one of them.
What?
And in this,
Beast is becoming a bad guy?
Well, Beast is a bad guy in this universe.
What?
He's called Dark Beast in this universe.
I don't like this. I don't like this at all.
Well, the thing is,
No.
what you'll realize is that Beast will...
No, I don't
he's
like it.
evil in a lot of alternate timelines.
Nope.
It's really easy.
Nope.
It's really easy for Beast to all of a sudden turn on his comrades,
That's not
it
cool.
seems.
I don't like it.
But, I mean, in this book, you have this one being in here named Jean Grey. The being's not Jean Grey. There's this one where he can... I forgot what his name is. I think his name might be Flatscan. But he has the ability to... tell if someone's lying or if someone's telling the truth. And for some reason, his power set is the one that everyone within the X-Men is trying to protect. I don't know what's so special about him yet. As a mutant, they haven't really said anything, but for some reason, he holds a huge role in this storyline, apparently. Now, the thing is, I don't remember too much from the original Age of Apocalypse. I mean, it came out during the mid to late 90s, and so I was a comic book reading nerd at the time.
So it was a comic book, not part of the TV show?
No, this was never part of the TV show. This was just a pure comic book series. In this series, Wolverine loses one of his hands. He's like a rebel fighter. Magneto's leading the X-Men.
That's odd.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're familiar with the X-Men, Magneto does that a lot. But I mean, as far as the story goes, I mean, it's interesting enough to keep my attention because I kind of want to figure out what's going to happen in this fight against Apocalypse, because they're trying to go up against him. And Apocalypse in this world, not only does he run it, but he's also God Doom's Baron. So within Battle World, Doom, Victor Von Doom, he's the god of the entire world. And within each region, he appoints a baron or a ruler of the domain. And Apocalypse is the baron of this domain. So the X-Men are literally going up against Doom's will, as it were. So it's bound to cause them some trouble, I'm sure. The next book I read was Civil War #2. All right, so what's this book? What is the book about? What's the synopsis?
Skirmishes between each side continue in the wake of a failed attempt at peace. General Rogers and his forces in the blue continue development of Project Bell Curve, the top secret effort to win the war in one epic stroke. while Iron President Stark discovers deeply troubling data about the course of the nation's history since its division. So what did you think about the book?
Well, so far the Civil War series has been really fun to read. Okay, do you know anything about Civil War, the original comic book series?
No. Sorry.
Okay, so it's all right. So originally, in the original comic book series, there was this Mutant Registration Act that the government was trying to impose on all superheroes, which meant that they had to reveal their secret identity. They weren't allowed to have one. On top of not having one, they also had to register who they were and had to go through training to become a superhero. Like, you just couldn't be a superhero just because you wanted to. You were allowed to be a superhero after having training through S.H.I.E.L.D.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Iron Man thought this was a great idea, and Captain America thought this was a horrible idea.
Of course.
So that's the Civil War.
They never can see eye to
Yeah, they
eye.
can never see eye to eye. So that's the Civil War that the two were having. And so what this series does is that this goes a step further past Civil War, and they act like, because at the end of the original story of Civil War, what ends it all is that Captain America is shot and killed. In this universe, though, Captain America is not shot and killed. Instead, Captain America and Iron Man cause so much of a division within the country that you end up having one half of the country which calls themselves the Blue, which is run by Captain America, and his only rule in the Blue is do not harm anyone and do what you can to help anyone. And then you have the Iron, which is Tony Stark's side of the country, and Tony Stark's side of the country is ruled by laws and order and a police force, and he runs it like I guess the best way of looking at it, like an American democracy. And this comic book has been really fun to read because it really plays on that idea of what is freedom compared to safety. Can safety be within freedom? Do people have the right to do whatever they want, or does it make sense to impose laws on people? And it has this really heavy, or not heavy, I take it back, it has this really interesting political undertone throughout the whole thing that kind of reflects what we go through nowadays, where you have the people are like, freedom, America, and then you have the people are like, well, we kind of need laws because without them, bad things happen. So it's really fun reading this series. I really love the artist that's on it because it is what's his name, Francis Leon, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. I've been a fan of his art for a really long time, and then seeing him draw this series is really neat. And in this issue, the secret weapon that they're talking about, that what do they call it, the bell curve, is Captain America's weapon that depowers a superhuman. So his trick underneath his sleeve is trying to depower the superhumans that are on Iron Man's side of the country, which raises the interesting question of, is if you're willing to depower somebody, are you taking their freedoms away? And so, I mean, there's a whole bunch of political conundrums in this thing, and I've had fun reading it, in all honesty. I've really enjoyed it.
Alright, so Siege number 2.
Siege number 2. So what is the synopsis for this one?
In big bold letters. They can't ever win. They can't afford to lose.
You gotta read it with gusto because it's capitalized.
Yeah. The shield is the only thing that protects the more civilized areas of Battle World from these zombie hordes, death machines, and annihilation waves. Anyone who annoys Doom gets sent to the shield. Anyone who gets sent to the shield deals with Abigail Brand, Miss America, Lady Catherine, Kang the Conqueror, Leah Shieldman, the Endless Summers Company, Leonardo da Vinci, and a cast of thousands will fight to the death to keep Battleworld safe.
Right.
But don't worry, Kieran Gillen is writing this book, so I'm sure everything will end happily for everyone. Imagine next wave adds tragedy. It says, so what is this?
Okay, so what this is that in Battle World there's
a lot going on there.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there. In Battle World, there's this. I guess, imagine a world where the equator is a gigantic wall, and south of the equator are all these what they talk about zombie hordes, death machines, and annihilation waves. And these are zombie hordes, or all of the Marvel heroes zombie form. Death machines are, I believe, those are the Ultron army that's on the other side, and then you got annihilation waves, which those are almost like an alien race, like a machine alien race. And so, the shield, or this wall that goes around the world, there are people posted on it that keep these forces from destroying the shield and taking it over. And then all these hordes and these zombies and all of them, all they ever really try to do is destroy that wall, so that way they can get into Battle World and then take over that half, or the northern half of the hemisphere. So Abigail Brand is one of the generals on the wall, and she's pretty much just in charge of keeping her section of the wall free from attack, and if there is attack, she is to defend it. So she is the successor to Nick Fury. That's the character I was trying to think about. Yeah, she is the successor to him, and pretty much the book's just it's her documentation of what's been happening. And recently, King the Conqueror is a time manipulator. He's like a time lord, minus being Doctor Who. But he can see into the future and into the past, and he can slip between dimensions. And so a future version of him came back and said that there was going to be this next wave that they talk about, that's going to be coming to the wall and destroying it, and that it's going to just be mass genocide. Destroying the shield, and then once they breach that wall, then they're able to get into the Battle World and destroy it and take it over. Zombies want to eat everybody, the machines want to kill everybody, and Annihilation wants to assimilate everybody. So it's a man, this book is like a psychological thriller. Like, there's just this constant looming gigantic battle that's on the horizon, and issue number 2 just simply talks about that this moment's coming that much closer, and it goes into the backstory of Abigail a bit. It goes into the backstory of what's her name, Lady Catherine, and her lover is Magic, which is Colossus' sister, which was interesting. And they used to fight back hordes all the time, so it just has this feeling of something bad's coming, and I think it even goes into it whenever we get to the Red Skull book. But the next book after that I read is Guardians of Knowhere number 2. So what's the synopsis on that one?
In a colony of thugs and criminals, there's plenty of work in maintaining the peace of Knowhere. But a new power is rising, one that threatens to tear apart the threadbare fabric of the Celestial Heads Society. The mantle of a guardian weighs heavily on its bearer's shoulders. Will those destined to safeguard Battleworld's moon accept that burden in time to save its citizens? ? Alright, so what did you think of this book?
Well, I really like the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise, and
this is Guardians of Knowhere.
Well, it's based off of Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, it's based off of Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, it has all the characters. It has Gamora, Drax the Destroyer. So it has Wreck.
How does this play in? Good question, huh?
Yeah, this. Okay, so this is in. Okay, so you remember how in the movie they were inside a Celestial's head? They went to that Celestial's head. in the movie. That's how they find the collector there. You remember. You remember? You remember. You don't remember that in the movie?
Slash your head.
Yeah. You know Benicio del Toro in the movie? Or what's his name? Yeah, his name's Benicio del Toro, right?
Well, that's his real name.
Benicio. Well, yeah, the collector. The collector that he plays. So the collector's in that. You remember that weird asteroid thing that they flew up to? And it looks like a gigantic skull?
Sure.
Damn it.
We'll go with that.
Damn it, Jean Grey.
Sorry.
Anyways, so within this book, they're in that celestial skull, and it circles Battle World like a moon, almost. So I haven't really gotten the feeling that there's some sort of protectors of the moon, unless the Guardians of the Galaxy are those protectors. Mm-hmm. But so far, the only Guardians that we've seen is Gamora, Rocket, and Drax. We haven't seen Groot, and I haven't seen Peter Quill in this either. But Peter Quill is in another book within Secret War. So far as the story has gone, Gamora's still celestial, and right now there is a guy trying to kill Drax the Destroyer, and he damn near succeeds at the end of this book. So it's been interesting to read, but at the moment it just kind of seems aimless. I mean, the character that I'm talking about, let's see, I believe his name, he was originally like a low-level thug, and then he's trying to become, his name is Yotati or something like that, and he's trying to destroy Drax as well as the underground, and he's successful in destroying the underground in order to gain power for whatever criminal underground is happening on this moon. But I don't know about any type of safeguarders or guard. There is no guardians of this galaxy yet. Like they're not even technically a team, and at the end of this book, I mean, they get pretty much pummeled by this Yotati guy. So I'm gonna keep reading it because I really want to see what's gonna happen to these characters, or if they finally get together, or because Peter Quill is one of the characters that survived from the original 616 universe. So he has no idea that this version of the Guardians exist. So we'll see what happens. I mean, it's interesting so far, but I honestly don't know exactly where the story's going yet. But we're barely into the second issue of the book, so the next issue should be a little bit clearer.
All right, so on to the next one.
Red Skull number 2.
Right.
Under attack by the horrors of the Deadlands, the villains learn that the only way to survive is to sell their souls to the devil. Magneto has always hated everything about the Red Skull, but would he betray that to gain his freedom? Rising stars Joshua Williamson and Luca Pizzari continue their tale of bloody revenge across all of Battleworld. So there's a thing about Battleworld here happening.
Okay, so
is there different things? I don't know.
All right, so you probably don't.
What's happening?
You probably don't know this, but secret. Okay, so there's Secret
different
Wars.
Dimensions of Battleworld.
Yeah, there's different domains within Battleworld, and this is on the other side of the shield. Yeah, unless you've been reading it from the beginning, it's a little confusing. But this is
like the third one.
Yeah, this is on the other side of the shield. This is happening on the other side of the shield.
Okay.
Doom has banished. He originally banished like 5 supervillains onto the other side of the shield in order to find the rebel that's known as Red Skull. So Red Skull was one of the villains that rebelled against Doom, because Doom is supposed to be God in this world, and Red Skull is one of the first ones to doubt that he's a god.
Right.
And so Doom.
Red Skull is kind of a jackass.
Yeah, exactly. So Doom banished him to the Deadlands, the other side of the shield. But recently, Doom's been hearing rumors that the Red Skull is still alive. And because there's rumors that the Red Skull is still alive...
Just because you banish someone doesn't mean that they're...
Well, according... In this world, being banished to the Deadlands is pretty much death sentence. It's really hard for you to survive on the other side. Because...
But it's Red Skull, so...
But it's Red Skull, right. And you end up finding that, yeah, he is still alive. And the other 5 supervillains that went with Magneto have all died. Magneto is the only one that has survived. But the problem is that he survived on pure strength because right now he's wearing a collar that doesn't allow him to use his superpowers.
Oh.
So this is interesting because I didn't stop to think about the relationship between Magneto and Red Skull. Because Magneto obviously was a Jew that was in a concentration camp at one time.
I remember that.
And the Red Skull is a Nazi.
Oh.
So I didn't even connect those two. So this is interesting. This is the first time me thinking of it that way, which makes the story a lot more interesting, honestly. But yeah, so Magneto ends up finding out the Red Skull is still alive. And the Red Skull is trying to find a way to destroy the wall as well. So, it turns out, Magneto has a choice. He could either work with Red Skull and survive, and in surviving tear down the wall, or he can rebel against the Red Skull and try to survive in the Deadlands by himself. But that's very hard to do. Like I said, it's damn near a death sentence. So in this book, Magneto decides to side with Red Skull, gets his collar removed, and has the full potential of his powers back. And that's where the story ends, where Magneto has his full power, and they're about to make an assault on the shield. So I don't know if this is part.
An assault?
Yeah, make an assault. I don't know if this is part of the next wave that they keep talking about in Siege number 2, but that would be cool if both of those coincide. So we'll see what happens next. It should be fun to read, and with this new dynamic between the Red Skull and Magneto, that's even more interesting. So I definitely want to read that.
Okay, Spider Island number 2.
Mm-hmm.
The Spider Queen has turned Manhattan into an island of spider madness, and Peter Parker has lost. Thanks to Spider Scribe Christos Gage and rising star artist Paco Diaz.
Yeah.
With Spider-Man defeated and captive, does Flash Thompson, aka Venom, stand a chance? All this plus visit the MC2 patch of Battleworld.
Mm-hmm.
What is MC2?
MC2.
Or should I just ask later?
You should probably just ask later.
Mayday Parker and her Spider family are back, courtesy of classic Spider-Girl team Tom DeFalco, Ron Friends, and Sal Buscema.
Yeah.
Okay, so explain that one.
Okay, so in Spider Island, it was a story that happened in the mid-2000s where there was a woman that released a sort of virus that turned everybody within Manhattan into a spider creature. And the only one that was able to rescue everyone was obviously Spider-Man. Well, in this continued story, Spider-Man lost, and everyone was turned into a spider creature, and there were only a few heroes that survived. Probably two of the main ones that come to mind is Venom, and the Spectre, and who is the other one? Venom, the Spectre, maybe She-Hulk? No, Miss Marvel. No, I take that back. Not Miss Marvel. Poop. Who was the other one? There's a couple of heroes that survived, but those are the two main ones leading the rebel against the Spider Queen. But Essentially, what ended up happening is that they ended up finding out that one of the creatures that was originally a werewolf that got turned into a spider creature, whenever nighttime comes around and the moon turns him into a werewolf, he actually has his regular mind back. Because whenever these people turn into spider creatures, they're controlled by the Spider Queen.
Got it.
So Venom and the Spectre had this idea that if they can get something else to infect the other heroes with a monster virus, then they can get their mind backs as well. So they ended up infecting the Hulk with the lizard serum. So he turned into a gigantic Hulk lizard. They infected Captain America with a werewolf serum. They infected Captain Marvel with the vampire serum. They infected Tony Stark with the Green Goblin serum. So it's almost like Universal Monsters, Marvel Superheroes edition.
Okay.
And now they're leading an attack on the Spider Queen. And I thought it was interesting because since Tony Stark.
Wow.
I got skating on the brain. Since Tony Stark was infected with the Green Goblin serum, he now created the Green Iron Man. So he's the Green Goblin, but in an Iron Man suit. It's interesting. It's definitely different. But as far as anything else happening in this book, I mean, it's been a really interesting read. It's interesting to see if they find a way to overpower the Spider Queen. But so far, I've liked this story. There's been no reason now that they actually have a team to go up against the Queen. I definitely want to see what's going to happen next. And then they had a secondary story at the very end, that Mayday Parker that they're talking about. And it's about, it's another alternate timeline where Peter Parker had a daughter by the name of May. And whenever Peter Parker died by the hands of the Inheritors, she took up the mantle as Spider-Woman. So, as far as what's happening in that story, I mean, there's nothing really interesting. I mean, unless you knew that book back in the day, which I did not. So there's not too much I can say about that story that's terribly interesting to me. I mean, the Spider Island story is interesting, and I didn't even read that original saga. So the Spider-Woman line just hasn't been holding my interest at all. I've just kind of been skipping it.
All right, well, Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows, number 3.
And I had a really bad opinion of this one at first, and it's kind of changed.
Hold on. The most controversial Spider-Man story of the year continues. There are some lines Spider-Man won't cross, right?
And that's the real question, right? Well, so whenever we originally talked about this book, I said I didn't like it because I didn't like that Peter Parker chose the two people of his family over all of society.
Oh, I remember y'all talking about
this. Exactly. And we were having a kind of a debate back and forth whether or not that still makes him a hero if he chooses family over the world and vice versa. And then the question, I guess we'll call him, since we really don't have a name for him right now. He brought up the argument that, if Spider-Man would have died anyways, what would have been the point? And it's a good point, but what's made this story interesting to me now is that now Peter Parker's family has been threatened beyond all compare. So in this story, he married Mary Jane, and they have a daughter named Anna. And the daughter has spider powers. And in order to hide her from this new regent, I guess, ruler that they're having. So the regent ruler has the ability to steal powers. So anybody who pops up who's either mutant or has a superpower somehow. He tries to kidnap them and take their power, and he's the ruler of the world at the moment because he defeated the Avengers. So Peter Parker's family is now being threatened even more so than what it was beforehand. And it's getting harder for him to hide his daughter. So now he's being forced out of retirement to take on the Spider-Man mantle again. And he's wearing the black suit, and he's a lot more vicious than what he used to be. I mean, he's blowing off people's hands. He's ripping people's arms out. I mean, he is downright brutal. But the reason I find this interesting now, because at first Peter Parker annoyed the living Jesus out of me. It just made me mad that he would choose the lives of two people over the lives of many. And maybe I was wrong, because not a lot of people suffer within this world. Like, in this society ruled by the Regent, people are kind of happy because he gives them free energy. He gives them things, so they're kind of complacent, and they deal with his dictatorship only because it's not really detrimental to them. But now that it's officially like oppressing Spider-Man, now he's getting into the fight and fighting back. Whenever he's kind of by himself. You know, he could have done this in the beginning and would have been with other heroes, but it's him against the world right now, which I guess is the essential Spider-Man story. But the reason I think this is interesting now, because Spider-Man now has to go to levels that normally he wouldn't, such as killing his foes, all because he didn't do anything to begin with, or he chose not to do something to begin with. So now I really don't know what to think about this story, and this is kind of the reason why I like it. On one hand, he's having to become a much more violent Spider-Man because he originally did nothing. But on the other hand, if he had done anything, would it have changed anything? So I mean, this has me in a moral conundrum, and I love it. I'm loving it now. Now I want to read the next issue. This is, hey, if you can put me in a moral gray area, I am down for the story.
Alright, on to mine.
Oh yeah, okay, so the next book is Giant Size Little Marvel Avengers vs. X-Men #3, and Jean Grey has actually read this one, and she went back and read the other three because I told her that the other two, or the first two, because I told her that you don't really have to know any backstory to get into this book.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at all. So the synopsis for this story is: playtime is serious business in the land of Marvel, and our tiniest heroes are putting in work to prove their new neighbors which crew is the toughest. The smaller they are, the harder they brawl. This is Battle World after all. So,
OMG.
What do you think about this book?
Freaking awesome.
First
of all, they look like little kids.
Yes,
they are.
They're all little kids.
But they still have the attitude of the adults.
Yes, they do. While still having the attitude of kids. Cute. Right.
Deadpan humor, all of it, it's there. So funny.
Well, the artist that does this, he's also the artist.
The art was really good, too.
The artist is also the writer for this book, Scotty Young.
Yeah.
And he's infamous for doing stuff like this.
Oh my gosh. So great. So great.
So what's happening in issue 3?
So I think in the third one, there's a brother and a sister. They're twins.
Yeah.
They come into town, and between the X-Men and the Avengers, they try and get the twins to come to their side. Mm-hmm. So they each give them a little sheet of paper giving them the address to their tree houses, quote unquote, or clubhouse, I should say.
Right.
So, which are basically across the way from each other. So funny.
Right.
And so the twins show up. They go to the X-Men first. They give them a tour. It's so funny. It's so great. And then once that tour is over, then they get to the Avengers side. And it's just, I mean, it just, I'm like, I don't even know. Like,
Just jokes galore, huh?
Oh my god, it's so funny.
So I read a little bit of this. I didn't get to read the whole thing, but the thing that I thought was hilarious was the 6D TV.
Oh my gosh. It's not 3D, it's 6D.
6D. Double the D.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's so dumb, but it's so funny. So you're definitely going to check out the next issue, I'm guessing.
Absolutely.
That's good.
This was a great little...
It's a fun. It kind of reminds me of Calvin and Hobbes, but a lot more goofier.
It's so funny because it's all the characters. It's not just the main ones. It's all of them.
Yeah.
So that was great. Even the better part. Deadpool, all of them. I was like, yes.
It's a good book and it's fun to read.
It was so
really
great.
Fun. The other book that came out was Future Imperfect #4. So what's the synopsis for that one?
I can't read. I don't even know what that.
I think it's script messing up. Okay, so pretty much.
Read this.
I'll read
that
one.
Know what
it says, so out of the frying pan into the destroyer. The maestro, the thing, and the rest of the crew go looking for the destroyer in Norsheim, and find a way more than they bargained for. What's a visit to Norsheim without an all-out battle against a guy named Ulick and an army of trolls? A face from the past returns could spell the trouble for the Baron of Dystopia.
Could this spell trouble?
Yeah,
yes.
they could. It's just a number of scripts.
So what's the Baron of Dystopia?
So the Baron of Dystopia is the Maestro. So Maestro is Bruce Banner, but older as the Hulk and with full function of his brain. Think of it like a
It's like a Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, like a split personality of the Hulk and Bruce Banner. Technically, like he's the genius of Bruce Banner, but with the strength of the Hulk.
Got it.
And he's the Baron of this domain called Dystopia. And the rebels that are going up against him, because he's a dictator in this world, is the Thing. But the Thing isn't Ben Grimm in this world. The Thing in this world is General Ross, which is Betty Ross's father. You remember who Betty Ross is? Remember how in the Hulk films his love interest, Betty?
Oh.
Okay, so Betty Ross's father...
Oh, the mean military guy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, the mean military guy in this world is the Thing.
Oh.
And he leads a rebel group against the Maestro.
Of course he does.
But in the book, they end up finding out that they have the Maestro and the Thing have common interest. Both the Maestro wants to leave Dystopia. The Thing wants the Maestro to leave Dystopia. But the reason the Maestro wants to leave Dystopia is because he wants to overthrow God Doom. And the Thing's like, hey, as long as I get you out of this land, I'm going to help you do this. So the Maestro has this idea to take over the Destroyer. Now, do you remember who the Destroyer is? It's that big metal guy from Thor #1 movie. You know, the main bad guy at the end of Thor #1?
Yeah.
That's the Destroyer. And so Maestro is trying to get control over that in order to go, because he believes that the Destroyer is the only weapon that can go up against Doom. But on the journey getting there, he has to get the armor through this troll named Ulick, who is sort of like the guard of the Destroyer. And he fights Ulick, he fights the trolls. There's one casualty on their end, but they eventually overcome Ulick, and they find the Destroyer. But at the end of the book, it ends up not being who you think it is. It's like this old man, and that's where they cliffhang it. Like, I don't know who this old guy
I'm so
is.
confused.
So yeah, it's I kind of want to keep reading it. The story has sort of been kind of lagging for me, I guess only because I really don't care about the characters that much, and the development of these characters have kind of been wonky and teeter-totter, and you know, because at one time a character will be against somebody, and then a situation will change to where they have to be with the person, and then characters act outside of what they should be acting. It's almost like a comic version of playing Risk, the board game Risk. So it's, I don't know, it's not capturing my imagination too much. I'll read another issue to see who this destroyer guy is, but otherwise, it's a decent enough book.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm gonna keep reading it after the next issue,
Well,
but it's decent enough.
It then. I might. I would read it. Ultimate End number 4.
Yes.
Tony versus Tony. Clint versus Clint. Hulk versus Hulk. The tear between domains deepens.
Mm-hmm.
How long can two territories occupy the same space? Here comes Miles. All right. So what is this about, and who's Miles?
Okay. Miles is Miles Morales.
Okay.
You know who Miles
I've
Morales
heard of the
is.
name.
Right. Okay, so
I don't know.
he's the ultimate Spider-Man.
Okie dokie.
Yeah. The Ultimate Universe, you know what the Ultimate Universe is in the Marvel Universe? Sort of, maybe. Not really. You should.
Y'all keep talking about it, but I don't.
So shamed.
Sorry.
Well, just know
There's
that.
too many universes.
Yeah,
Can't keep track.
there's only 2 technically.
Whatever.
But we'll see. Well, anyways, Marvel and
Terrible
the
thing to say, I know. But
the Marvel Universe and the Ultimate Universe collided. Both in the Ultimate and the Marvel universes, in the Ultimate Universe there's a modern version of all the Marvel heroes, and of course we've got our regular Marvel heroes. Their 2 universes collide, so you have 2 Tony Starks, 2 Hawkeyes, 2 Hulks, so on and so forth. And this has been causing trouble because you also have one Nick Fury from the Ultimate Universe that feels as if he has domain over that he has authority over the domain, whenever the original Tony Stark doesn't recognize his authority. So
never has.
He never has. Yeah, right. He's always rebelled. So both Tonys from both universes have gotten together because they feel as if they can figure out a way to get back, or get the universe back to the way it originally was. And this is kind of troublesome for Doom because Doom made the universe what it is right now.
Dr. Doom?
Yeah. Or God Doom is the best way to put him in this universe. And so they think they found a tear within a dimension that can get them back, or get the universe back to the way it originally was.
I'm guessing Dr. Doom doesn't want that.
No, because he's the god of this domain. He doesn't want to let go of that power. So there's this conflict that's happening between Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. and both Tonys, and they kidnapped Bruce Banner that S.H.I.E.L.D. had in custody because they felt as if the Hulk was more of a liability than anything. And now Bruce Banner is helping both Tonys to find this tear between universes in order to get everything back to the way it used to be. Now, the special, or the reason why the entrance of Miles Morales is special is because Miles Morales is one of the characters that survived before the collision of these 2 universes. So he's one of these characters, or I like to call them, he's one of the original characters from the Ultimate Universe. So he could be a game changer because he's the only one that remembers exactly what happened and how it happened, how Battle World came about. So he could actually blow this operation wide open, and I think that's why he's special within this issue, because he comes right at the end.
So I'm guessing you're gonna keep.
Oh, hell yeah, I've been loving the Ultimate End. Yeah, this has been a great series. It's been really fun to see these 2 universes collide. I've been having a lot of fun reading it.
Well, that's good. Star Wars Darth Vader number 8.
Yeah, so this is the non-Secret Wars related book.
What?
So it's not tied into the Secret Wars. It's a Star Wars book.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
does this have anything to do with the one that I read?
Yeah, actually, yeah. It's happening within the same universe.
What?
It's well, here's the thing. So this is Darth Vader's book. It's a book strictly about Darth Vader, and this is happening between episodes 4 and 5.
Okay.
This is after the destruction of the Death Star, before they started rebuilding it. So, Senator Palpatine sees the destruction of the Death Star as Darth Vader's fault. So he's been punishing Darth Vader by making him the lackey of his other generals. And by doing so, Darth Vader's kind of been carrying out his own mission behind Senator Palpatine's back, trying to find Luke Skywalker, because he recently realized that Luke Skywalker is his child, or his son. And he recently found out that Luke Skywalker has a sister. Because remember, Darth Vader had no idea of any of this. So, this story talks about the workings behind Darth Vader, or not the workings behind Darth Vader, what Darth Vader has been working on behind the senator's back. And he's been smuggling counterfeit money. He's been hiring bounty hunters to find Luke Skywalker without Senator Palpatine knowing. And this is pretty much what this story is about.
So how come you didn't tell me about this?
Well, one, because we're 8 issues in.
Oh.
And I didn't know if you wanted to read 7 issues before that. I can give them to you. I have all 7 issues. I can give you every Star Wars book I have, so you can read them if you want.
Bring them.
All right, I'll let you read them. But, I mean, the Darth Vader books have been really interesting. Actually, all of these Star Wars books have been really fun to read.
Was really good.
Yeah, and what I love about these books is that they keep the feel of the original trilogy.
Yeah.
And they keep the original voices, which I
The
find...
art is amazing.
Yeah, the art is usually pretty damn good.
Is almost spot on.
Yeah, and the dialogue between characters are spot on, and it's literally like watching movies in between these movies, and it's been so fun. And if this is any indicator what the anthology is going to be, the anthology movies are going to be like, it's going to be pretty awesome. Really awesome.
Okay.
But that's it for Marvel. The next books we have are DC, which we are not Marvel biased, I swear. I did read one DC book. And I read it because this is the only one that really interests me, because I like the original animated series. Did you ever watch the
Yes,
Batman Beyond?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did.
So
I watched a lot of them, actually.
yeah, I watched all of them because I really liked them. I like that different take on
see all of them. I saw a good portion.
a good
of them.
portion of them. I need
Yeah.
to see if I can find that series. I need to get the original Batman series, for the love of God.
Anyways.
But so I read Batman Beyond number 3. In this series, Terry McGinnis is no longer the Batman anymore. He was killed during Convergence, and Tim Drake took over as the Batman. And Tim Drake, of course, it was Robin. Actually, he's still Robin technically in the main universe, but this is another universe, because as we all know, after Convergence, all universes are canon, so I'm just taking all this with a grain of salt at the moment. I'm just liking the book for the book. I'm trying not to relate it in any which way to any type of history, because then it's going to get confusing. But Tim Drake is the Batman. They live in a world where this being called Brother Eye has taken over the world. Gotham still exists, but it's hidden, and it's called Neo Gotham, and it's being run by a rebel group being led by Barbara Gordon. So she's still alive, but she's much older now. And the brother eye is taking people and it is turning them into a machine. And there's 3 phases of them becoming machines. First, he brainwashes them, then they become his soldiers, and then he turns them into machines, like half human, half machine android things.
Weird.
He's already in this world. Brother Eye has already destroyed the Justice League, so the Justice League all work for him now. And the only real survivors, Barbara Gordon and the Batman, which is Tim Drake. And in this book, he's captured, Barbara Gordon's captured, but thankfully Tim Drake finds a way to get away with the help of Ink. And we find out that the only reason Ink is helping Brother Eye is because she has a daughter that Brother Eye is keeping captive. And Tim Drake is trying to take the fight to Brother Eye, but Brother Eye ends up finding out where Neo Gotham is. So he's sending the Machine Justice League over to Neo Gotham to destroy it. And so now the Batman has to go up against this Machine Justice League, and it's freaking awesome. Anytime you put Batman up against the Justice League, I will read the hell out of that. Because it's really freaking fun. But that was all I read from DC. There's gonna be more books this week that I'm gonna read from DC. I swear. But that's all I read, because last week just a lot of dry stories I just didn't feel like reading up on. But now that we're done with DC, we can get into independent comics, which you read.
I did read one.
Yes. Okay, so we got 2 independent comics that we're bringing to the podcast, since we weren't able to bring any independent comics to the last 2 podcasts. So you read the book called They Are Not Like Us #1.
Right.
And let me just read the synopsis for this. So this is an Eisner-nominated Nowhere Men writer, Eric Stevenson, teams up with red-hot artist Simon Gain for an all-new ongoing series. We all have advantages over one another, but what if you were capable of things most of us can only imagine? What would you do, and who would you be? A doctor, an athlete, a soldier, a hero? Everyone has to make a choice about how to use the abilities they're born with, but they're not like us. So, how was this book? What did you think of the book?
When you first start this book, there's a girl on the edge, and she's wanting to commit suicide because she hears voices in her head. She has no idea why. Everyone thinks she's crazy, sends her off to the shrinks, hospitals. So this strange man appears on the roof with her. And pretty much tells her, not to jump, but not in those words. Just,
right.
She wants to, as she puts it, just go to sleep. So basically she wants to kill herself and just go to sleep so she doesn't hear the voices in her head anymore.
Gotcha.
And he's telling her that's not going to happen no matter what you do. So she ends up, it looks like she falls to her death, but she doesn't die. She ends up being in a hospital. He's speaking to her telepathically. And he gets her out of the hospital, brings her to the house that he and the group are staying at.
Right.
And they tell her that she has the ability to kind of like the Charles Xavier,
She has telepathy and telekinesis.
Right.
Gotcha.
Which she didn't know what that was anyway.
Okay.
So she's great. She's happy only because she knows that she's not crazy, but now she doesn't know what to do with herself.
Yeah, who
but
would?
now she's in this house with other people who have abilities. She meets them, and now he's telling her that she can't be around her family. She has to change her name. I mean, it's just a whole like. And then he tells her she has to kill her family because she can no longer
be a part of the family.
Right.
Huh.
It's crazy. That's where it ends, basically. And I was like...
So do you think you would pick up issue 2?
Hell yes.
All right.
I was like, damn, that was...
What's going to happen next?
That was a little harsh. I was like, you gotta kill your family?
I know, right? That's kind of an extreme. Holy crap. It is.
I was like, wow, that's... So, yeah, but, I mean, yeah, she meets about... I don't know, 6, maybe 8 people who have other abilities that live in the same house.
Yeah.
So,
and they're all trying to figure out what they're going to do with their power?
Well, some of them already know. She's the newbie.
Okay.
So, she's just trying to get a feel for everybody and what's happening, so...
Alright, so you really like this book. You would recommend it?
Yeah.
Okay. So that is They're Not Like Us, number 1.
No.
And they already have the first volume out for this book. So, if you get a chance, go check it out. The book I read was Jirni Volume 2, Number 1. So, this is about Aira is a warrior princess with the blood of a mystical jinn, which a jinn is also another word for genie. Flowing through her. She's powerful, brave, and capable. She's determined to finish her quest to find her kidnapped mother, no matter what obstacles may fall in her path. So, I already read Volume 1 a while ago. I was following along as the issues were coming out, and this is Volume 2 that came out almost damn near a year later. I mean, or at the very earliest 6 months. So it took a while for them to come out with this issue. You know, they have a new artist drawing for them, and the artist is pretty close to the original artist that drew this series, so it really doesn't take you out of the story that much. And the artwork's really good. It's just he's a pretty damn good artist. But the story has been really interesting. Like, she's pretty much this Aira woman. Ara or Aira. Mm-hmm. I pronounced it Aira, but it could be Ara. But this woman, I mean, she looks like an everyday woman until this genie takes over her, and then she becomes like 6 feet, 6'5".
Wow.
Yeah, she gets
like
taller.
An Amazon type
she gets taller. She gets more muscular. You know, she has heightened strength and these warrior abilities, and it takes place in a fantasy world.
Kind of like Xena.
Yeah, kind of like Xena, almost. Only that it takes place in a much more exotic fantasy world. Okay. I guess you can say. And you know, in the first volume, you know, she's looking for a kidnapped mother, which took her across the desert. Chasing after this man who enslaves genies. And because she ends up finding out that her mother herself was probably a genie. And now the journey, at the end of Volume 1, the man ends up escaping in a kind of floating ship, almost like a blimp, and he crosses the sea, and the seas are kind of uncharted. So she ends up trying to follow in a boat and gets capsized. And in this book, she's picked up by a pirate crew. And so now she's traveling with these pirates, trying to cross the seas. And during this issue, they come across this island called the Black Rock that's inhabited by these insect-like people. And what they do is that they trade food for these precious gems that is also a power source. And you know, this issue is simply about introducing the people that live on Black Rock, introducing this power source, and Ara trying to understand the rules and the lifestyle of a pirate, and the kind of morals that they live by, because you know she lives by an honor code, but pirates are a little bit different. So I mean,
They have their own type of honor code.
Exactly. One of the first things that brought me into this book was the artwork, and what's making me stay.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, what's making me stay is the story. The story is extremely interesting. It's by Aspen Comics, and yeah,
Ooh.
exactly. And that's been a really fun
Nice.
company for me to follow
Yeah.
because they have really imaginative properties. So.
But this is volume 2, so you've already.
I've already read and collected volume 1. Yeah. And now I'm collecting volume 2. You want to read it too, don't you?
Yes, I do.
I'm going to have to sift through my comic box now. Good God. There's like 3 of them there that I have to go through. But I'll find it. I can find it. I don't know if I have all the issues, though. So I might have to... I might have to go to a comic book store and see if I can find the other issues. But yeah, I definitely recommend this book. I think I've recommended it before, but this new volume is starting, and I think it's a good jump on point for people that aren't too familiar with the character. But do you have any other independents you want to talk about? Or is that about it?
No, I think that was about it.
Alrighty. So, that brings us to our pop culture section of the podcast. Okay, so, pop culture. There were a few things that happened. A number of them are pretty noteworthy. Probably one of the first ones is that photos of the Black Panther on the Civil War movie set has been released, and if you haven't seen them, no problem, because I have them right here, and I might learn how to edit this in maybe somehow if I get better at video editing so that the audience can also see these pictures. But essentially what they show is the Black Panther on the set, and he's on the set with what's the actor that's playing the Winter Soldier? Sebastian something rather. I forgot his name. But apparently the Winter Soldier, or Bucky, is gonna play a huge role in this movie. Especially judging from the end credits of Ant-Man.
In the Civil War movie?
In the Civil War movie, yeah.
Good. I like him.
Yeah, he's a good character. But so these are the pictures that were released or that were leaked. I don't know if you can say they were leaked, but they were released of the Black Panther in his suit, and that's Bucky Barnes there. So it gives you an idea of how the suit's gonna look in the movie. And apparently it's got black and gold. It looks pretty cool. I can't wait to see what it looks like in motion. That's gonna be really interesting. Hell, I can't wait to see the Spider-Man suit. I mean, because there's been all kinds of rumors about that suit. Like, so far, the rumors that they've been talking about, because Spider-Man's going to be in the new Civil War movie, and so far there have been rumors of 3 different suits that he's going to be in. One of them is like a homemade suit. The other one is a suit, I guess, provided by the Avengers. So it has a Captain America kind of a look to it, almost, with the same Spider-Man color scheme and decals. And then I've heard rumors of there being a sort of Iron Man type of spider suit. Well, okay, and this could be interesting because in the original Civil War, Spider-Man did get a suit from Tony Stark, and what did he call himself? I think he called himself Iron Spider or something like that.
Okay.
But it was a badass suit. I don't know if they're going to replicate the suit in the movie, but the fact that he might get a suit from Iron Man is exciting. Especially, the nerds that read the book.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's really interesting. The other thing in the news is that
Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey. God damn it. It's too many R's. Man.
Anyways,
Ronda Rousey wants to join the Marvel Universe as Captain Marvel.
I'd go for that. She looks amazing.
Yes,
and I think
does.
she'd I think she'd pull it off.
She's a badass. She is a badass. Now, the thing is that you're very familiar with Captain Marvel. You read a number of Miss Marvel books.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So
I have the first 3.
And you have seen a movie or two that Ronda Rousey was in. One of them being Expendables 3.
Yeah.
Do you think she has the acting chops to be able to pull off her own movie? Because, I mean, she would be the leading lady in this movie. That's the real question.
Yes and no.
Okay.
She's got the looks.
She's got the look for it. You're right.
She's blonde. You might want to blonde her up a little bit.
Yeah, you'll have to cut her hair.
Maybe not too much.
Well, if she's gonna look like the Captain Marvel that is in the Marvel universe now, you might have to cut her hair. Have you seen the way her hair is now? It's almost like not a faux hawk, but think about like a shorter hairdo. It doesn't have to be
exactly like that.
Well, no, but I mean it does.
Because Miss Marvel had her hair long for the longest.
Yeah,
and
she
she
did.
could keep that.
But she's no longer Miss Marvel. Now she's Captain Marvel. And I think that's
schematics.
And that's the title of the movie is Captain Marvel. But I think she would pull off the badassery for sure. But they would have to put her through some acting classes, I think. Or at least to prepare her for the role. Because, I mean, we're talking about...
Because at least when she was in Expendables 3...
Yeah.
Her acting was very limited.
Very limited. And they did that for a reason, I'm sure.
She did a lot of fighting.
Yeah, and that's what she's great at.
Like fighting and shooting.
I love I love the fact that she's a nerd.
She has some good lines.
Yeah.
In the movie, and that showed a little bit.
But Expendables is all about one-liners, technically, though.
Yeah. So.
But this is what I will say. She definitely has the badassery. We all know that. Yeah. She can kick anyone's ass.
Might need to soften her tone a little bit.
You may not even have to, because she's supposed to be a military kind of a gal. So you may not even have to soften her tone. So she has the badassery. She has the look. We know that she's nerdy, right? A number of videos have come out showing that she's nerdy.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. Yes. Oh yeah, I love that about her. I think the only...
She's a Pokemon nerd.
Exactly.
Oh god.
and a Dragon Ball Z nerd.
Oh my gosh.
It's great. The only thing that she doesn't have, and is probably one of the most important parts, is acting chops. Yet, that's not saying that acting can't be taught. I'm just saying...
I think she
would have to really...
If she really wants it,
yeah,
she'll pull it off.
But that also means that she'd have to step away from the UFC for a while, too.
I'm sure she knows that.
But that's only if she wants it enough.
But that's what I'm saying. If she really wants it, she'll step away from UFC for a little while.
Well, the good thing is Captain Marvel's not scheduled till like damn near 2-3 years from now, which means that she technically has about a year. If she really wants this, she has about a year to prepare for it. So we'll see what happens, because there's other names in the running too. Yvonne Strahovski
really?
is another name that's in it. What are some? There's a number of other actresses that are being thrown out there. None of them confirmed, obviously, but there are a number of actresses that want to take on this role because. And here's the other really important part: it's going to be the first female-led Marvel movie, and that has not been done in the Marvel universe yet.
I hate saying this, but if Rhonda doesn't get it, I would gladly take on Yvonne Strahovski as Captain Marvel.
She's an absolute badass too. Yeah.
We already know she can act from Chuck and other movies.
She can do the action stuff,
and then she can do the action. She can hold her own.
She's probably one of the only
and her hair's not that long. It's actually shorter now.
Yeah, it's shorter now.
She's chopped it off.
Well, not only that, the other name that I heard is what's her name?
Where's she from?
She's from Battlestar Galactica.
I know who you're talking about.
You know who I'm talking about, right?
Crap, what is her name?
I completely forgot, but her name's been thrown around too. There's no guarantees yet, though. No guarantees.
Right.
These are just kind of fan speculations and who people would want to see.
Didn't follow Battlestar Galactica, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. So there's been a number of names out there. We'll see what happens. Maybe this is Rhonda's way of trying to get her name into the ring too. Because the best way of doing it is, saying that you're interested, right?
Yeah.
The next bit of news is that Fantastic Four fails to win the weekend over Mission Impossible. So this is Mission Impossible's second weekend being in theaters, Fantastic Four's first weekend, and Fantastic Four couldn't surpass Mission Impossible. So
Which basically means they bombed.
Yeah, that
Terribly.
movie bombed pretty bad.
I feel bad for the actors.
I want to see it out of morbid curiosity. Just to see how terrible it is. I don't want to pay for it, but I definitely want to see how terrible it is. Oh man.
I feel really bad for those actors though.
Oh, I do too. I even
it's
kind
not their
of
fault.
I'm not gonna lie, I even kind of feel kind of bad for the director. Like, sort of, to a degree. I mean, there has been tons of stories about him being a complete jerk-off on the set. And maybe they thought he was a jerk-off because he's like a super introvert or something. I don't know. I don't know.
Director?
Ah, damn. He's a director that did Chronicles.
Chronicles?
Yeah. You know that movie about teenagers getting superpowers?
It's Chronicle.
Oh, sorry. Chronicle.
There's no S.
My bad.
Yeah, but I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's the one that directed it. And they said that there was just a number of problems on the set coming from both him and the studio. And there's a lot of rumors saying that it was mostly the studio that was mucking around with his movie. So, I don't know, man. I honestly don't know. All I know is that whoever's fault it is, they fucked up hard.
That's unfortunate.
They really did. The next bit of news is that there was a new international trailer for the Star Wars Force Awakens. It was the South Korean trailer. And it showed a couple of new scenes. Nothing that was mind-blowing, but it did give you a little bit more of an expanded look of the episode 7.
A little bit more going on
yeah,
this one.
There was a little bit more running, a little bit more armies, a little bit more...
A little different Darth Vader showing.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. What's his name? Darth... Son of a bitch. Something rather... No, Darth Maul's dead. But this is a new Sith Lord.
Oh.
And it'll be... I'm so excited for this movie. I can't wait till it's released. And finally, a new piece of movie news is Patrick Stewart confirmed that he's going to have a role in Wolverine #3. Yeah. So, obviously he's going to play Professor X. There's no other character he can play. But it's going to be interesting to see in what capacity his role is. Because we still don't know... See, and this is interesting because if Patrick Stewart says that he's going to have a role in this movie, that means they have an idea where they're going to take this story. Mm-hmm. Which they haven't even uttered an iota, not even a peep, about what this story is going to be. Like, a lot of people are like, it's going to be Old Man Logan. A lot of people are like, oh, it's going to be the death of Wolverine. We honestly have no idea. We don't know. So, I guess knowing that Patrick Stewart's going to have a part in it is... But then again, he could play a flashback. So, I don't know. We still don't know what this story is, guys. You need to give us something, anything. So that's it for movie news.
Yeah. We
now have TV news. Probably one of the first ones and the most exciting news for me is that Constantine or Constantine is not truly dead.
Wait. What are we talking about? The TV show?
The TV show. Hold on. Wait. Don't get too excited. Okay, so...
Don't play with me, boy. I ain't got time for that.
You ain't got time for that business. Okay, so the original actor that played Constantine is gonna cameo in the Arrow.
Okay, what does that mean?
Which means Constantine, the character, is coming back, but in a cameo on the Arrow. Well, hold on. Okay, and this is pure speculation.
The Phoenix is
No.
gonna come out of me. So angry.
So distraught. Well, here's the thing. Okay, so it's a promising sign that the CW is trying to use the Constantine character in the Arrow, mainly because one, the Arrow is probably one of their most popular shows. Number two, the fact that they're trying to use this character could be telling if the episode is popular enough that people want Constantine back. Now, I don't know if this means that they would find a way to bring the show back. They're saying, the producers of this show are saying that, oh, this is a one-time thing. The only reason we're using Constantine is because we think this is the only way of bringing a dead character back. But the thing is, they can find other... This is comic books.
But he's not a dead character. He's just...
No. He was just canceled too early. Way too early. It was a fantastic goddamn show. We'll get to that. But yeah, they're going to use the character to bring back another character within the show.
But we haven't been watching The Arrow.
You know, honestly, I don't care. I would just watch this episode just to see Constantine again.
Yeah.
Just so that the WB or the CW producers can see the spike in the ratings and be like, people want Constantine back. We need to get on this shit ASAP.
Absolutely.
I will. Okay, I am going on record. I am finally gonna watch The Arrow. I will watch this one episode. I'm not gonna go back and watch all of them, but I will watch this one episode.
There's too many.
There are too many. It's too late, man.
It's too late.
I can't catch up now.
There's too many seasons involved.
Way too many seasons involved. I ain't got that type of time.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Let's see. The Red Tornado is going to be a cameo in the Supergirl.
Okay, I hate asking this or saying this.
Who is the Red Tornado?
The Red Tornado.
In all honesty, I hate saying this too. I honestly don't know. All I know is that he's part of the Justice League at one time. I know how he looks. He looks like an android with a tornado coming out of his ass.
That's weird.
He kind of looks... I ain't gonna shit you. He kind of looks like a cross between the Vision and the Avatar. Only that... Because he's got a cape. Only that there's a tornado that he spins out of. Like I said, I don't know jack shit about this character.
Anyways.
But
I want to see Supergirl though.
I want to see it out of curiosity. I will give it like 2
Whenever
episodes.
It comes on, I want to watch it.
Okay. I will give it 2 episodes to see if I like it. But what's interesting about having the Red Tornado cameo on this show is that it kind of gives her a connection to the Justice League. Because honestly, the Red Tornado has never had his own comic book series. He's never been of any significance outside of the Justice League.
So he's a bad guy?
He's a good guy.
Oh,
He's in the Justice League team.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So this kind of gives Supergirl a connection there, which is interesting. The other thing that's interesting is that her parents from Krypton is being played by what's his name? Dean, you know the guy that played Superman and Lois and Clark?
Dean Cain?
Dean Cain.
Shut
that's his
up.
name. Yeah.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
I totally want to watch it now. Sorry, I was a totally Dean Cain fan.
You
From being the
big
little-
nerd.
I liked the Dean Cain Lois Lane TV show.
That was
I watched
such a
almost every
campy
episode
show.
of that.
Such a campy show. But yeah, so that's an article I read said that he is playing her father in Krypton. Obviously, he's not.
Totally want to watch it
Well,
now.
here's the thing: he's not gonna be a reoccurring character. Her parents die.
Well, that's just
that's
hurts.
a whole.
The Phoenix.
That's soggy your
Phoenix is
diaper
coming.
there. It's coming out. It's coming out. Let's see.
It burns.
The burn. The next bit of news is the first look at Jay Garrick in the Flash Season 2 promo. So
Who's
if you don't know who
Jay
Jay Garrick is, he was the first Silver Age Flash. He was the Flash before the current Flash.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, he was probably one of the first. And the way they're introducing him is that I'm guessing he's coming from an alternate timeline or something to that degree, because we know that the end of season 1 he goes into that black hole.
I was gonna say that.
Exactly. So they're gonna mix these two characters, which is for all the fanboys and all the nerds. It's fun, and they actually showed how he's gonna look, and they're keeping pretty faithful to the original design of the original Speedster. Let's see. The next bit of news is that X-Men is in close talks for a Fox TV deal. They're getting closer. Okay, so
live action or cartoon?
Live action. They're gonna
up.
do a live action X-Men
Shut
show. Again.
Shut up.
Again. Hold on, let me get the details on this, because I don't know if... Okay, now here's the thing. They've done a live action show before, if you remember it. Do you remember, what is it called? Generation X, I think that's what it was called. Was it called Generation X? I think it was. I think.
I don't know, maybe.
It was a movie. Well, I'm sorry, not a movie.
No.
It was a TV show about mutants, and it had to do with the X-Men, but it had nothing to do with the original X-Men team. And I didn't watch it because it didn't have anything to do with the original X-Men team.
No.
Yeah, see, I don't know either. And the thing is, I don't know if they're going to do the same thing here. So, from what it's saying is that they're going to work the X-Men into a television series. Fox is currently in negotiations with Marvel to get this done. And they're hoping to announce something soon. So, they've tapped into... two different writers.
Mm-hmm.
One of them wrote Star Trek Beyond, and the other one wrote 24.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could have like this real world grittiness that Bryan Singer's famous for with his X-Men movies. But there's no details on what the story is going to be or anything to that degree. I think it'd be interesting if they actually use the original team, but I very much doubt that they're going to do that. I know. It's
not going to happen. We want it to happen, but
we
it's
want
not
it to happen,
going to.
but it's not going to happen. And
Okay,
that's the
so
crappy part.
Jessica Jones is a psychological thriller first and a superhero show second. So this is
the Netflix series.
Netflix series
Yeah.
after Daredevil.
Right.
Now, anybody cameoing in Jessica Jones?
Luke Cage is going to cameo in it. Iron Fist is going to cameo in it, and Daredevil's going to cameo in it.
Okay. Now, who's playing Jessica Jones? Do they have some?
Yes. Her name is something Rosenberg. Something Rosenberg. We talked about it last podcast, and now I completely forget her name. But she... I'm gonna lie. I wasn't terribly excited for this series, aside from it being a Netflix series. But now that they say it's gonna be a psychological thriller, I'm kind of down for that. I really want to see what that's about. But yeah, if it's gonna be a psychological thriller, and if it's gonna, I don't know if it's gonna play on city crime like Daredevil does. That's her. But I mean, I'm down for seeing this. If this is gonna be a psychological thriller with superheroes, sign me up, man. I want to see what that's about. So did you find her?
Doesn't give me her name.
Here. Punch in there, and her name is...
Melissa Rosenberg.
There you go, Melissa Rosenberg. That's the actor's name.
Are you sure?
No, I'm sorry. Her name is Kristen Ritter. It's John Ritter's daughter.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's her.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely want to check that out. That should be really, really interesting. The next bit of news, and you may want to read this.
What?
Oh man.
Oh, Xena, Warrior Princess, confirmed by NBC.
It's
Hell
gonna
yes.
happen, yo. Now, obviously,
well,
it's not gonna happen with Lucy Lawless. Let's just get that out right now.
I understand this, and I'm okay with that.
She's a little bit too old for the role now.
Do they have anyone that's going to play Xena as of yet?
They don't have anyone yet. No one has been announced.
That's what I'm a little concerned with.
Yeah. Well, this is what I hope. I hope they keep with the story. Obviously, don't change the story in any which way, form. I want that story. That story was fun, and it was unique. Now, I don't know if I want them to stick with the tone. Do you want
Meaning,
do you still want it to be that kind of, that little bit of campiness mixed with Greek mythology? Because you know that the original series was campy as fuck sometimes.
yeah, but that was... I mean, it wasn't all campy.
Well, no, but it had that kind of Buffy the Vampire Slayer type of feel to it.
How dare you?
It did, and you know it. It had that same type of tone.
How dare you
It had
diss
that.
my Xena?
It had that Hercules tone to it.
Shut your face. You shut your face now.
Well, okay, tell me, would you want it to have that same tone? A new like, I don't mind it being funny. I'm down for it being a little bit funny.
There's campy.
Okay, we're not talking like Adam West Batman campy, but we are
I don't
talking.
want the Chris Klein from Chun-Li campy either.
Oh God, no! That's not campy. That's just bad acting.
It was campy bad acting.
Shitty acting. I felt so bad for Kristen Curick. Because that would have been her moment to shine if it wasn't for shitty actors.
It was a good movie if it wasn't for his campy.
I don't know if I'd say it was be a good movie, but it could have been a lot better. Like, it had the potential to be good. But
I don't mind a little campy, but just not over the top kind of campy.
Right, not over the top campy. So
keep it to a minimum.
How would you want this series to be if not like the original
Well, it's
series?
definitely going to be more updated since whenever the original Xena was like in the like
90s.
90s.
Not 80s. Really?
Are you kidding me?
It is not that old.
It
Nowhere near.
Well, I'm talking about the technology as of what we have
now.
now.
The TV technology? Yeah.
Yeah, it looked
They didn't
terrible.
have any of the budget
It looked
we
like
got
an
now.
80s. Let's get real.
It looked like an 80s campy show. But
the story itself was good.
Yeah. The characters were great.
Yeah.
If they can keep the characters and the story, but slightly... I'm trying to think of a series that you can compare it to. Because you don't want it to go Gladiator serious.
No. But that's what I'm saying.
But you kind of want it to be like Clash of the Titans, kind of? Do you think maybe that's still too serious? Or you think that's serious enough?
I think that's serious enough.
I'm trying to think of something. Maybe like Percy Jackson.
Yeah.
So something like that, where it's like there's the comedy in there, there's the action.
Are they gonna get like younger actors? I'm guessing.
Well, they kind of have to, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no way they can use any of the original actors. It just wouldn't work. You couldn't get. I mean, Lucy Lawless could play like Hera. That'd be interesting.
Hmm?
I would love for her to play a Greek god. That'd be freaking awesome if they could get her to do that. But they're gonna get new actors for Xena and Gabrielle, and what if they include Hercules?
They better get somebody really good.
Oh, come on, like, what's his name? Kevin Sorbo was really good. Seriously. He was not a good actor. He's still a crappy actor to this day.
How dare you?
Hey, don't let your childhood memories get in the way of facts.
How dare you? How dare you speak ill of Hercules?
How dare I say things of Kevin Sorbo? No. You know what the last movie he was in?
No.
You want me to tell you?
No.
Because it'll wreck your childhood.
Probably not. Because you know me, I watch B movies.
Are you
can't get any worse than that.
I don't know, man. This one was maybe worse than a B movie.
This is a C movie.
Yeah, in my opinion, it's a total D movie. He was in that movie God Is Not Dead.
Really?
Yeah, he played what did he play? He played the atheist professor or something, and he had to play like he was a complete dolt, right? Because it's a propaganda movie is what it is. and it's like, yeah, he played like this like unrelatable, irrational atheist professor or something. It's the most dumbest thing. And whenever I saw his name attached to that movie, my heart just kind of ached a little bit. I was like, God damn it, Kevin Sorbo, are you just taking any paycheck nowadays? Why would you do something? He was just fine in Andromeda whenever that show was out for a while. But yeah, so that's the news. Any other TV news that you can think of? Anything else that came out? Well, I did watch this behind the scenes featurette about Fear the Walking Dead, but there's no real new information other than what we know now.
It's coming out next month.
Yeah, it's coming out really
there's really
soon.
Nothing to.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be watching that show.
Walking Dead comes out in October.
Comes on the month after. Yeah.
Oh. Movie news.
Yeah.
For the non-nerdy, Fast and Furious 7's coming out.
Whoa,
Blu-ray.
Whoa! How dare you bring Fast and Furious to this podcast? The audacity to bring such garbage.
It's coming out. I saw it on Facebook.
I'd rather talk about Fantastic Four than that movie.
No, that's kind of.
Yeah, that's a low blow, but it's true.
It's a low blow. That's
Can't
harsh.
stand the Fast and Furious movies.
Maybe you do, but not the rest of us.
What?
Some of us might actually.
Are you talking about the vroom vroom skirt explosions? This is all about family. Vroom vroom skirt, more explosions, impossible physics.
Man, you're a hater. Anyways.
The franchise should have died 5 movies ago. That's for damn sure. What?
I swear to God, you're gonna make the Phoenix come out. It's coming.
It's coming.
I feel it.
All right.
Blow you pieces.
Up to the question of the week.
Look what you've done.
Look what I've done. I have angered her. The dark Phoenix is on the edge. All right. Okay, so the question of the week, which ties into the Constantine thing.
Mm-hmm.
What is a comic book show or movie franchise that you think ended too soon?
I have to say, back to the a TV. It was a comic book TV show,
Right.
which would be Birds of Prey.
I remember that. Mm-hmm.
I really liked it. I think it only got maybe 1 season, and then it got.
I thought it was interesting.
I don't even think it even got a season 2. I think it just got.
Who were the characters on it? So it had like the
Ashley Scott, I think, was one of them.
Right, it had the Huntress. I think it had the Oracle in it.
Yes. The Oracle was played
And I think it had Black Canary on it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, she played a role.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was interesting at the time, and I honestly don't know why that series didn't do well. But then again, I don't remember that much of it. I only remember snippets here and there. When did it go off the air? Do you know?
I'm looking it up.
Let's see.
Ashley Scott was the main character. Dina Meyer, love her.
Oh, okay.
She was the Oracle.
Holy crap! Shamara Moore was in this thing.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. Oh man, it was only 13 episodes. It really didn't go past.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was just, I liked it. I think whoever was in charge.
Did this come out?
And this was when it was the WB, not the CW.
Yeah. Did this come out around the same time as dang it, why can't I think of the name now? The Jessica Alba show.
Oh,
dang it.
Dark Angel.
Dark Angel. Did this come out around the same time? Because this was around 2002, 2003, right?
Right.
Okay. So it may have been around the same time. And that's another show I think ended way too soon.
Only had 2 seasons.
It only had 2 seasons, right? And it's not a comic book franchise, but it damn well could have been. It kind of played out like one. Dark Angel, to this day, I wish James Cameron would make a Dark Angel movie, but with Jessica Alba, and just put it a couple of years into the future.
It ended in 2002.
Okay, so it was roughly around the same
before.
time. Yeah, right before Birds of Prey.
And I
loved that series.
I have both.
Yeah.
Seasons.
Yeah, I love that series. That series was so fun.
Done by James Cameron.
Yep. Like I said, James Cameron, dude, make the movie. Just go ahead. Jessica Alba still in great shape. She could just play an older version of, what was the character's name? Mac? In the series, wasn't Jessica Alba's character Max? There we go. Just switch it from it being like a 90s dystopia to
from 2000 to 2002, so only...
Ah, man, I missed that series.
It was a great show.
So you chose Birds of Prey. The series that I thought ended too soon was Witchblade.
I did like that one.
I did. I really liked that series whenever it came out. I think it was maybe a little bit, sort of like with Birds of Prey, it was probably just a little bit too ahead of its time. Mm-hmm. And people didn't really appreciate it that much. I think the only thing that I found...
in 2002 as well.
Ah, man, 2002, 2003 was like the death of everything interesting. What channel? It was on TNT, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, man.
TNT
bombed it. God damn it. Yeah. It only had how many episodes? Around 13 episodes in total, or 12? 12 episodes.
Yeah.
It had 12 episodes. It stuck as close as it could to the original material.
Had Will Yun Lee.
Yeah.
Kung Fu Light.
Uh-huh.
Oh, man.
And it stuck pretty close to the source material. It changed it quite a bit because obviously it's really hard to translate Witchblade. But for what it did, I think if it would have kept going, if at the very least, if it was revived, maybe with the budgets that they have now, I think it could have just been a really fun series to watch. I mean, the premise itself is just fun. So if you can sell the Witchblade and Sarah Pazzini, then the rest of the series is golden. I think they stopped that one too soon. They gave it one, not even a whole season, and it just bombed on TNT. And this was a time when TNT wasn't really showing that much original content. So I was super surprised whenever they knocked this one down. But it doesn't seem as if comic book properties last that long on TV back then. Oh man, I missed that series. I actually owned that one too.
Constantine.
Yeah, and that's kind of what spurred this question for me, was Constantine.
How many seasons did Constantine get? 2?
Nah, 1.
1?
Not even a whole season. It got like 12 episodes. Wait, no, not even 12 episodes. Hold on.
Sure.
Let me see. I think it got like how many episodes did it get? So Constantine got a total of 13 episodes, and that was it. And then it was canceled. God damn it. God damn it, TV. Why do you cancel the good stuff? Can you think of any other shows that ended too soon?
Oh man, I don't know. Those are probably the main ones.
God, man, I swear. Well,
see, and everybody gave it like good reviews. And
everyone loved that show, and it still didn't make it. How? Well, I can tell you why it didn't make it. It didn't make it because it was on NBC, and NBC had no idea what to do with the franchise. They never had a franchise like that, other than maybe Heroes. They've never had a franchise that dealt with comic books,
I don't think it was on the
supernatural.
right channel then.
Yeah, I'm
should have been on.
Yeah, I'm
some
pretty
other
confident
channel.
in saying that it was definitely on the
I
wrong.
think it should have been on like
network.
HBO or some show that could, really.
Or yeah, I mean,
Oh.
it could have gone to Sci-Fi and
Yeah.
done just fine. You know.
Yeah, sci-fi.
Mhm. I mean, hell, with what they're doing at the CW, it could have gone to CW and it would have been fine. But CW didn't pick it up, and now you're including him on an Arrow show. CW, god damn it. God damn it. I'm hoping that CW is just realizing that the mistake they made. and they're kind of testing the waters, but son of a bitch. I mean, damn
Yeah.
it. They need to bring it back. But other than that, can you think of another series?
Nope.
Alright, well, that ends yet another issue of Panel to Panel, guys. If you like what you hear, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for new podcasts every Friday. Like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter, and you can find all of those links in the description below. So be sure to join us next time, and we'll see you next issue.